Almost 19,800 on the Nifty, the level that we saw yesterday from where we did a bit of a U-turn towards the end of trade, but looking good for the markets, no real problems. Let's get chatting then with Wonderla Holidays. They saw a decent performance in seasonally weak second quarter, but the important part is how the third quarter and the holidays have panned out as well. Arun K Chittilappilly, who's the managing director of the company, joins in. Arun, thank you for joining in. Season's greetings to you, your team. Just wanted to know, the festive season so far, where there are a lot of school holidays, etc., families come together. How has the festive season so far in the third quarter been for you in terms of footfalls? How does this compare with last year's festive season?
So thank you, Mangalam, for having me on the show. Always a pleasure chatting with you. Yeah, so the festive season has been pretty good this year. We have done better than last year. But having said that, the big caveat is that the festive season is still ongoing for us. We've just finished Dussehra and Diwali, and then of course we have a lot more holidays coming up, like Christmas and New Year, and all that kind of plays into our third quarter. So the first half of the quarter has been good. And now we are looking forward to the the remaining of the the later half of November and December. Should be good. I think it's looking quite good for us.
Well, can you define quite good in terms of numbers? You said the first half has been good. So what is good? Is it 10% footfall growth plus 5-6% ARPU growth? How does that work?
I think footfall growth is there has some footfall growth compared to last year. We're still collating the numbers, so I don't have exact numbers yet, but there's definitely a growth. I think about 3 to 5% kind of growth. And then ARPU growth is still, I mean, we are not really sure of it yet because again, the numbers are not here. So, but we are definitely seeing an uptick in our ARPU also as well. The exact quantum of it is unknown to us at this point. But there is, it's definitely doing better than last year is what I can say.
Okay, all right. Arun, hi, good morning. Good to have you in. Tell us in terms of footfall growth, I think earlier you were guiding for 5 to 10%. Last year you ended around 33 lakh. So this year, do you think you get past the 35 lakh, or the first half of the actually has been more or less flattish, but second half is when you see all the, festive season play out. So that's point number one. And ARPU as well, you were talking about 10 to 12%. Do you think you'll get there?
Yes, I think 10 to 12% of ARPU growth looks feasible. Footfall growth, like I said, it's a bit of a mixed year this time. We are getting higher paying footfalls, I mean, higher retail footfalls. But then Q3 is also heavy on groups and, institutional sales for us. So it's hard to predict how it's going to play out in terms of footfall growth. But we are expecting a marginal growth, like a 5% kind of footfall growth. And that should be achievable is what we feel.
All right, 5% footfall growth. Let's talk about the growth triggers then. The capex that you've allotted or allocated for the construction of the park in Odisha, where it's underway right now. Then Chennai as well, where groundbreaking has happened. You're also in talks with the governments of Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab. When do we hear on this? What's the pipeline looking like?
So we are on track to finish our first project, which is Orissa. We should be ready before the festive season of next year. So I think around September of 2024 is when I think we'll be able to launch this, park. So that should come on stream next year. The year after that, we'll have Chennai coming on stream, which is going to be one of our biggest parks. We're going to be opening that in same time around September of 25 is when we hope to open that. On top of that, we have been talking to governments of Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Goa, etc. One or two of these should come through in the next quarter or so. We will have some positive news on that. Once we have that, I think we will again start, planning it and start executing it. It will take us some time to start execution. Once we, finalize on a particular location, that whole process could take between 6 months to a year. The whole land acquisition phase. Then after that, for us, it's about 2 years to complete. So, so as we complete our Chennai and Orissa projects, we will definitely have 1 or 2 projects, to start work on again. And that's how we are planning it.
And how long does it take for these units, once you commission it? You spoke about Orissa, Chennai, then you're looking at other parts of the country as well. Post-commissioning, how long before you break even?
The parks will be operationally EBITDA level break even will happen in the first year itself, but at a PAT level, it should happen from year 3 or year 4.
And how does one, model revenues from these parks? I mean, what kind of ARPUs should new parks generate according to you, and footfalls, how does that go?
So, for example, our Orissa project is an asset-light model for us, and it's a smaller park in a tier 2 city, right? So, we are expecting footfalls to be in the region of maybe 60 to 70% of our big parks like, Bangalore or Kochi. And in terms of ARPU, again, 70% of what we charge in a big park is what we're expecting there. For our Chennai park, I think our ARPU should be higher because we are planning it in such a way that it's going to be one of our flagship parks. So our ARPU for Chennai should be one of our highest, probably higher than Bangalore also. And footfall should be in line with what we do in Bangalore. So that's how we are looking at it.
So how does then?
But it'll take about a couple of years for it to kind of ramp up. So when we open, we will probably start with maybe a 60% of what Bangalore does in Chennai, and then 60 to 70%, and then it'll ramp up to like 1 million plus visitors by year 3 or year 4. So something like that is what we.
Would you have visibility on the margins for this year then? For at least this year, given the sort of capex, etc., that you're doing, and the operational expenditure?
Our margins should be intact because the big capex will happen in the next financial year. Right now we're placing orders and getting things ready. And for Bhubaneswar, already most of the big items are already here. But of course, capex will be getting more intense with building construction and things like that. So, but I think the majority of the big capex items will come in the next financial year.
All right, Arun, thanks so much for stopping by, giving us your outlook in terms of business. And me and Mangalam have a plan to visit one of your parks. Hopefully, in the coming year, we manage to do that.
Please do. Orissa Park, Nigel, he's saying that it will be open in September itself. By the way, speaking about the parks, on your Bangalore resort, occupancy in the second quarter dipped to 40%. What kind of occupancy are you seeing right now? And you wanted to increase the rooms as well?
See, for us, Q2 is a seasonally weak quarter. So the reason why the occupancy dropped this year is last year we had a lot of companies who had taken rooms in the resort. This was just after the pandemic. So we had a lot of, long stay guests in the resort. And that's why the numbers are looking a little odd this year. But if you look at our revenues, it's almost, I think, maybe like 4 or 5% below last year's revenue. So which shows that even with a lesser occupancy, we are doing more revenues. That's because we are getting higher paying retail guests in the resort this year. So which is good.
All right, we'll do that. So I guess between Odisha and Bangalore, we'll have to choose one of them.
Choose that. Maybe Chennai also. No?
Yes,
Chennai as well, but Chennai September 2025. Okay, he says come to Bangalore. So if you've said Bangalore, then Bangalore it is. Maybe we'll
see you soon, Arun.
The IPL, watch one of those Bangalore
Happy
match
Diwali
as well. Happy Diwali as well. Thank you, Arun, for joining in and inviting us to Bangalore, but at the same time giving us an outlook on your business for the second half as well. With that, from Nigel, we wrap up on this edition of Chartbusters. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to CNBC-TV18.